It's on the precipice of being a really good movie, but it's not there.
It's better than some of the other fucking movies.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it, especially the middle section. I enjoyed just sitting there and being like, oh, this is the sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
I'm out and about and I'm watching a science fiction film. I enjoy this. Whether or not it was the best executed script ever, that didn't matter because I got out of the house and I watched a movie at the cinemas, not in my fucking lounge room. And now I'm gonna go watch another movie in my lounge room. So we open with like some little intro giving us like the basic layout for the world building. It's kind of a really basic, simple, like cliche premise, and then it builds on it and kind of does some little twists and turns which are interesting. But yeah, it's the old fucking AI humanity thing. It's not quite post-apocalyptic, but AI fucking... Actually, no, it twists all these things. So at the beginning, spoilers with the creator.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it's like AI, fucking nuclear bomb, Los Angeles. And then later on, it's revealed there was like a human error.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even the AI.
Yeah.
So the, like... US is attacking China or Asia in general.
United Asian...
Yeah, because they're still
Federation.
embracing AI, and the US is anti-AI because of LA got blown the fuck up. But it was humans anyway, so AIs are our friends.
I think this movie was a couple of different things, right? So it was, or what it also was the Dances with Wolves or whatever, but deconstructed.
Yeah.
So basically taking Dances with Wolves formula and then chopping it up and rearranging it.
Yeah.
Right? So there's and it's also kind of like Blade Runner-ish.
Got a lot of Blade Runner.
It's kind of like anime sort of stuff. It's a lot of different things. And yeah, it's kind of got a lot of twists, but they're not, the twists aren't really impactful in any kind of way.
They're not shocking, but they change kind of what's happening?
Yeah, well they do change what's happening kind of, but I don't know, I think, so to start off with what I enjoyed, I enjoyed a few things about this movie, right? Like I enjoyed the sort of, the exploration of the normal sort of sci-fi stuff. Yeah. That's what I enjoyed.
Yeah.
Right, I enjoyed
it. It had nice atmosphere, the visuals are very pretty and beautiful. Lots of location work.
I think the editing was pretty tight.
Yeah, the music was cool. It was Hans Zimmer of Dune. It wasn't that, like, amazing.
No.
I guess he doesn't need to, like...
It was still better than, like the Marvel trailer that we saw.
Yeah, Marvel movies are generic, symphonic bullshit. There were some, like, interesting musical moments. They were gonna get, there's a company that specializes in AI music for like specific artists. They were going to get them to do a Hans Zimmer score, but they paid Hans Zimmer instead. So that's kind of disappointing. It would have been cool to put a fucking AI. Sure. Although then I guess lawsuits and shit. But can you do that kind of? Yeah, that's not voiding copyright. If you're impersonating.
Right now, as of 2023, it is up in the air whether or not it is legal or not.
Okay, so maybe it's a good idea that they just paid Hans Zimmer.
Yeah, well, I mean, though the point is it basically would have sounded like Hans Zimmer.
Yeah,
that's basically the point, right? So it doesn't
may or may not have actually been better than
That's
Hans
true,
Zimmer's
You'd still need to get somebody to go over it and like chop it up and things like that.
Yeah, make sure it's not breaching copyright, because you can once you like hit a few fucking notes in succession, then you're fucked.
Anyway, so the soundtrack was at least it was
interesting.
Yeah, you know what this movie reminded me of the most, and it wasn't because of the main actor. Tenet. Yeah. It wasn't because of him, right? Even though he was in Tenet, right? Yeah. But it reminded me of that it reminded me of that in kind of the worst kind of ways. So as I said before, they deconstructed the Gorn native sort of thing. Yeah. But it didn't work, right? Because they missed out. One of the great things about that formula, which Avatar shows us, the Avatar movies now, is that it basically sets the stage for great characterization.
Yeah.
Right.
So this guy is Denzel Washington's son. I don't know his name. I'll dig his name up here.
He's a good actor.
He is a good actor, but I don't know. I just don't get like a lot of. He's fine. He's good, but I don't get a lot of like charisma or emotion from him.
Yeah.
He's kind of there and he plays his part. But like the little girl was great. She was like emoting. Like she does stuff with her face and it makes me feel like he does stuff with his face and I'm like.
He's a bit machine-like, which is ironic.
Tenet, he was just the protagonist, and like Nolan went out of his way to not have him be a character for a reason.
He was a vessel for the audience or something.
Yeah, that's fine. And I don't know whether it's just because that's the only thing I've seen him in, but he kind of felt he had a lot of emotion. There was a lot of like character shit going on with his wife and shit.
Yeah,
a little bit too much maybe at the beginning.
You know what?
They show us like 5 times that she died, and he's sad. She doesn't end up dying. She's also fucking whoever they're after. She's the MacGuffin.
Well, they
twists and turns. But yeah, but from him, I don't know. I didn't get a lot of emotion from the actor.
You know what it is?
When he was in the scenes and shit.
You know what it is? I think it's the way it's the enunciation of his voice. It kind of doesn't change.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the same thing over and over and over again. He's either whispering, talking normally, or yelling.
Yeah.
Right, but there's no sort of. The kid is like babbling and fucking
Yeah.
And it's like he's kind of not doing that.
His face is like changing.
She's got like snot. She's got like snot coming out.
She's like crying. He's like, my wife's dead. I miss her. I loved her. And then I cut to like a shot of them on the beach spinning around. And
that's so stupid.
I loved my wife.
There are people. They needed.
Did you?
They needed the scene. The flash scene where they're both on a bed under white covers, right?
Well, at the beginning, it like set us down like 5 times. It's like his wife died, and I'm like, I know.
Yeah, we were there. Do you remember? I'm pretty
just showed that scene. Now you're showing a flashback to that scene. I guess the hammering home.
You know
what was happening because he wasn't giving us any of that on his face.
It makes me wonder whether or not they were deliberately trying to break away from the tropes of the type of movie that this was, really, and sort of sacrificed. But you know what? In this setting, with the things that they set up and the special effects and all that, it actually probably might have been a really enjoyable thing to have the traditional, like he goes undercover and then he falls in love with the target, and that might have actually been really excellent in this.
Broke, don't fix it.
In this setting, right?
Instead, it did kind of deconstruct it.
Well, we got it all in the beginning. She dies, he loses her, and like all the revelations. About that relate to like the subject matter and the universe in-universe lore and everything were given to us immediately.
Yeah.
Like they find the girl really, really early on. Yeah. And then so it goes from, it's like the ending of Dances with Wolves and then it turns into a different movie.
But like ideally it should be like the road trip with him. It's like fucking Logan.
Logan, yes. Yeah. That was.
You got Hugh Jackman, an actor, and the little girl in that who's brilliant, and like you get scenes of them playing off of each other. Whereas in this, he's just kind of like, "Fuck you, bitch. Where's my wife?" And she's like, it comes out again that like, so he was with his wife. He was a U.S. insurgent. He's inserted himself into this situation.
And he went native.
Undercover. She obviously was in love with him, but she didn't trust him enough not to tell him about the thing that she was doing and the fact that she's the MacGuffin. And then she dies, but she doesn't really die.
They get like nuked or something. Didn't he have to wear that suit when he went back to where they were living in the beginning because it was radiation or something? So I feel like they nuked the MacGuffin, and she was just totally fine. Yeah,
well, we don't know how she survived, right? They never say.
Well, they all survived. The guy, what's his face from the actor from Last Samurai?
Yeah,
he was there too, and they're all there.
They got away. Yeah. You don't need to show you how they got away.
They fucking nuked him. I watched them nuke.
They dodged the nuke.
Anyway,
dodged the nuke.
I think what was happening was three things, and one of those things was a result of two things, right?
Okay.
So the first thing really is that normally you'd maybe have an A and B plot.
Yeah.
Right, and the B plot serves the A plot, or serves as window dressing or whatever.
Yeah.
But they had two A plots or two B plots, right?
B plots.
Which was the girl.
Yeah.
And also, so the road trip.
Yeah.
And also finding his lost love, like, because that was all his motivation.
Yeah.
Was finding his wife, but he was also on the road trip with her.
Yeah.
With the girl, and they didn't really seem related.
Yeah.
Like, it would just it would switch between them, even though it should be like a bit more coherent with each other.
Yeah.
And then also, because of that, it kind of felt like the movie, the characters weren't progressing because of their own decisions and actions. They were progressing because the movie was progressing.
Yeah, well, he keeps on pressing her, where's my wife? And she's not telling him where the wife is, and we don't know why.
Yeah.
And he doesn't kind of like press her further. He just like, yeah, you're right, the plot just kind of rolls along because the plot's rolling along because it's written by a person who made the plot roll along. And then, yeah, it's revealed once again that the MacGuffin lady scanned her own fetus that was his actual biological daughter to make this AI like prodigy out of. So it is kind of like a version of his own biological daughter.
And they had to kill his biological daughter, even though they didn't kill the mother, basically.
Yeah. Do they ever explain what happened to the real baby?
No, they just said it died.
Yeah.
It died in the explosion.
Nuclear bomb.
That's what they said, right? So she was pregnant, and then they got nuked, and then she wasn't pregnant, but she had previously scanned her fetus or whatever and put it into into the new MacGuffin.
Yeah, so this MacGuffin, there's a bunch of AIs, they're integrated with Asia hardcore, like people mourn over these AIs, they like fall in love with them and stuff, they're just part of society, and they can't make an AI child for reason, whatever. The lady, she makes an AI child from her own fucking scan of her embryo, whatever. And this AI child can control the other AI, so...
It can control all machines, basically.
The AI people want to use it to shut down... What was the big spaceship thing?
Nomad.
They want to use it to destroy Nomad, which is this fucking pretty cool...
It's really cool, yeah.
And it's a nice, like, allegory for, like, the US and drone strikes.
Yeah, the imposing US, it is a great allegory, if a bit heavy-handed.
Yeah.
It's very dumb, but it's really great.
It's like actually what's fucking going on. You see like the targets projected, and it was pretty cool how it like scanned through.
Scanned through and then
blue shit. So the AI wants to use the kid to destroy that, and the US wants to use they want to destroy the kid, or I guess they could utilize the kid's powers to destroy all the other AIs if they really wanted to.
You know what's funny? And this is the point, right, is so they had two A plots, and then they kind of had a B plot with, like, the window dressing, which is what's, the sort of, what does it mean to be human? Like, are AI alive? Are they real? Are they just programmed?
Heaven, like deities, gods.
That should have been the B plot.
Yeah.
And then they pick one of either the wife or the daughter, and pick one of them as the A plot.
Yeah.
Right, and then have that be addressed again, and because they were having so much going on, and this comes back to the characterization, we didn't have enough moments between, say, him and the girl, or with any of the other side characters. Like, we met that side character, the guy, right, who had the factory or whatever, right, and then he's just gone.
He died.
Yeah, he died like 5 minutes later, right, even though he was like his friend.
Yeah.
And so everybody they meet dies, right? And we never really get any sort of character. The only person we got characterization for was the commander lady.
Yeah, that's her.
Yeah.
The US one.
Yeah.
Following them around.
Yeah.
She just dies as well.
She got either the third or the fourth most characterization out of all the other, right? Because she tells a story. She's like, oh yeah, this is why.
That's right.
This is why I hate robots.
Yeah, she emotes more than fucking. I don't know his name. Protagonist from Tenet.
So, but I don't know why we're getting they could have maintained the facelessness of the US, right? The faceless, overwhelming evil, essentially, trying to kill all the robots or whatever.
Yeah.
But instead we got characterized with this commander.
Yeah. Well, it's okay to, like, muddy it a bit, make it, like, black and white. But it kind of starts off with, like, the traditional, like, Terminator AI thing.
Sure.
And then it flips it, like, during the movie, and then turns out the US are assholes and AI, they're our friends.
I think the point is that, and you're right, it's great to have a humanised villain, essentially, but she wasn't really the villain. She was just kind of there.
She was the person doing her job.
She was. She was.
Who had this sad backstory.
If she hadn't have appeared in the movie, the movie would be exactly the same.
Yeah, that's fair.
Right, and so the time that we spent with her should have been devoted to somebody else.
Well, the guy and the child's relationship.
Yeah.
The father, the Wolverine, the Logan relationship. Yeah, so this movie was relatively cheap. It was like $80 million. The way they, like, filmed it is they got, like, small, like, guerrilla crews, and they went to all these places in Asia.
Cool. Yeah.
They filmed it all in the real locations. The director, Gareth Edwards, do you remember Rogue One? Do you remember that Star Wars movie that came out a billion years ago?
Yeah.
That was the gritty war movie that he made that they, at the last moment, like,
Turned from
chopped up and put Darth Vader in it.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Look, I remember they fucking came out like, we're gonna make like a realistic World War II Star Wars movie, and then they panicked. And it wasn't Star Warsy enough, so they had to put like the John Williams shit in and Darth Vader. And yeah, Rogue One came out, and it was like,
it was a clusterfuck.
It's fine, I guess, but like there's no character moments.
Well, it's exactly the same thing, right?
I don't know if this movie is the script's fault. It is a bit, I guess, but it's also the main actor's fault, I think. I think he doesn't emote enough for me to be emotionally invested.
Well, now that you bring that up, it's interesting, right? Because, that was one of the complaints I had about Rogue One, is that
it's like,
we meet all these people, but we don't know who the fuck they are.
And it's set up like the Magnificent Seven, where like the whole point of the film is the fucking Magnificent Seven and those interesting characters, but any of those characters didn't do anything. So yeah, he made Rogue One, and this is his fucking movie. And yeah, the tactic they did, which I think is really like fascinating, is rather than like set out and like design everything digitally, is like they just went out and filmed everything practically.
Yeah.
Which apparently is like far cheaper if you go with a small crew than doing it all digitally.
Really?
He said this was like an $80 million movie, and it would have been like $200 million if they filmed it like a normal movie. So they went out, collected all the pieces, used all fucking real landscapes and like shots of the countryside, and then after that, and once they assembled it, then they put the CGI like sci-fi shit on top of that.
They did a really good job.
It looked beautiful.
It was edited well. It looked amazing, right? I thought all the universe lore was great.
Yeah, the world building and the atmosphere. Like, it was nice to sit in it and just like kind of breathe.
I wish they'd actually had a bit more breathing in the fucking in the sort of vistas and stuff that they had, right?
You get like a fair bit of atmosphere. It was pretty much like Blade Runner, fucking Ghost in the Shell.
It was exactly like that. It's literally one of those movies. It's
almost really good, I swear. If you had like the lead actor was like of the caliber of like, Harrison Ford or Clint Eastwood, or you need someone that draws you in and you want to watch. Like, one of the big things with Doctor Who is like, it's like shot on a shoestring budget. I'm talking about the classical series. They knew there's going to be garbage stories, so they cast like a lead actor
really
who's charismatic. So even if there's like plywood sets and the garbage nonsensical story aren't like doing anything for you, like you can look at the guy and be like, Tom Baker's crushing it.
He's I look at
Denzel Washington's son, and he's doing okay.
Yeah, he's doing
a C+. Which is fine. But I don't know. If you put Harrison Ford in this, like 30-year-old Harrison Ford, it's a different movie.
Well, see, this is the point though, right? And they had that guy, the actor from, just keep saying the actor from Last Samurai, right? I don't know what his
Asian
name is.
man.
And
he was in Rogue One as well.
And he's such a great actor. And it's like, where is his... He should have had more time. Yeah. You know what I mean? So
we should get to know the wife a lot more too. We never see anything from her. she's in a coma at the end because the nuclear bomb put her in a coma, and the AI can't turn it off because she's like the deity, so he needs to shut down the life support.
I think, well...
So we don't see her for the entire movie, but he loves her, and the daughter loves her, but we don't get anything from her. We get lots of shots of her, but nothing character.
And then they have the fucking ending scene where they've taken the memory imprint chip or whatever and put it in a copy of her or something, and you just didn't need to have that.
Yeah,
why couldn't he have just died saying goodbye to his child?
Yeah, his daughter. Yeah, and it just becomes more confusing that they had to make that happen because, like, the AI child went and, like, found a version of his mother.
He's like begging her. He's like begging her, please, you need to come.
And then, for reason, dragged her into, like, a field in the middle of fucking this space station. And then left her there with the chip because she knew that protagonist man was going to find her and have an emotional moment.
Yeah.
But like, why did AI child do any of that?
Because she read the script.
Okay.
Yeah, it was like, she's like, and so we set off the ticking clock, right? There's a timer.
They're exploding things.
Yeah, the bomb's gonna explode. The whole thing's gonna explode. We've all got to get to the bloody escape pod or whatever. Yeah. And he is begging her on the radio because he's running out of air. Please, we gotta go. We're gonna go. Where are you? Where are you? What's happening? What's happening? And she's like dragging this fucking copy of her mother. Or whatever, yeah, I don't know. It's fucking really dumb. It's really dumb. Well, what it feels like creating fake tension.
Or like they're trying to elicit some emotional... But the emotional response...
Is the child and
the daughter, yeah, that should have been it. We don't need to see the wife again.
Well, but, so this is the point though, right? They had 3 climaxes happening at the same time. One, winning the war against the fucking...
You got all the missiles going down to destroy all the AI fucking facilities.
Right. Then you've got finding their mother or reuniting.
Yeah, that's not paid off or set up or anything.
And then fucking, like the daughter or whatever.
That's the relationship. That's what you need to focus on.
But that's what I mean. They were 3 movies.
Well, 2 of them are fine, which is like the AI attack and the father-daughter relationship. Just the mum, like...
Yeah, just
get rid of her about that.
Well, she's in the coma or whatever, and switch her off, and that's it. Right? We didn't need to even have that bit at the end there. But I don't know. See, this is the point, right? Well, this is the thing: is there was no draw for our main character to go and do anything because of the way they wrote the script without the mother. There was no motivation for him.
Yeah,
but. Why can't the motivation be that he knows that it's his child or something?
Yeah, well, he learns that, and that's like a pivotal moment. But it should just all focus around him trying to save her.
But the point is that they have to get the main character to overcome his sort of dismissal of artificial intelligence as just robots.
Yeah.
So they wrote...
He has to save the AI civilization.
So they wrote themselves into a corner, right?
Yeah.
They can't do this without this, and they can't do this without this.
Yeah.
Right? So it's like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's just, I don't know, it just seems like a bit of a clusterfuck.
Yeah, it was a bit messy, like direction-wise. Maybe like they didn't really know what they wanted to do. They were trying to do too many things, or they weren't, like quite getting there with any of the emotional beats.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think I enjoyed being in it and watching it, and I wish there were more like mid-budget sci-fi movies like this.
Yeah.
And we're always like complaining that fucking it's just Marvel and Star Wars and fucking DC and whatever at the cinemas. And nobody's going to the cinemas to see anything that isn't a massive intellectual property. Like, this could have been dumped onto fucking Netflix.
That's true.
I'm glad we watched it.
Yeah, I'm glad we watched it.
And it was good. I don't think it's a bad movie. It's probably like, fucking...
It just didn't draw me in. It
was almost there. Like, the atmosphere and the tone was good. The script is a bit wonky. The lead actor's a bit flat. And just like the emotional, like... revelations and like the themes and ideals are a bit confused.
Well,
but overall, I'm glad that like they made a mid-budget sci-fi movie that wasn't Star Wars, and I went to see it at the movies. I don't think it's doing well at the box office.
No, of course it's not doing well. They never do well. They never
do well.
Even Blade Runner 2049 didn't do well, and
that has Harrison Ford in it.
And that is this movie, but better.
Yeah,
right?
That's top echelon fucking.
It's almost exactly the same like themes that I want. It had other things.
Well, it had a lot of Blade Runner visuals, and Hans Zimmer does a lot of stuff with Denis Villeneuve, so there are a lot of connections there. But yeah, like Blade Runner 2049 is the peak of like intellectually like well thought out concepts, ideals, twists and turns. It has all that visuals. Where this is kind of stumbling with those and kind of passing and kind of not passing.
Well, that's I think the point is that there are the themes that the themes or the things that I found most interesting or that drew me in the most are things that I've seen before. Right, done better, which is kind of. I don't mind watching some like not a repackaging, but essentially the same themes and stuff in a different way again, right? Because I'll rewatch the same movie again and again. Right, but I don't know. It just gives you that feeling, right?
Yeah.
You just watch and you go, that's cool. That's cool, yeah.
I enjoyed like the middle of the movie, and I enjoyed like some of the action scenes more than the third act. Once we got to the third act,
it kind of just fell apart.
Yeah, like they didn't even really need to go and destroy Nomad.
Yeah, like, the big bad and stuff like that.
Like they went from like being on the run in like enemy territory in the middle of fucking like LA,
which was the best part.
To like going up and destroying an entire space station. Like there should have been way more people on that space station to stop the little girl. Surely she's just running around like turning the entire thing off, and there's nobody up there.
Think about how convoluted it is for them to. You know what's funny is what I think it was. So the guy from Last Samurai. Was watching a TV broadcast of our main character in the astronaut suit on the outside of Nomad, climbing up the thing. And to me, I'd be watching that and go, how the fuck did they get up there? How convoluted is it for them to have gotten to that point after being captured? Right?
Denzel Washington's son's like on the fucking nuclear warheads as they're like in the middle of being launched. He's like almost like Dr. Strangelove with the hat and shit. I don't know. I was like thinking about something else, life or something. I don't know how he wandered onto the missiles or how any of that was set up.
It was crazy.
But yeah, they went from like just barely like kind of scraping through and kind of heading towards their destination while like being on the run, but almost being caught to like destroying like the US facility.
The US.
Reasonably easy as well.
The entire war effort, basically, they destroyed.
It'd be like fucking me and Ella walking into the Pentagon and like destroying the Pentagon.
How many things have to go right for you to be able to get to that point and complete what you're doing? And then also have all the other things that, like dragging a body around and stuff like that. There's so much going on and it strains incredulity a bit. Right?
Yeah, no, that's fair.
And what was with the weird sort of spider robot thing?
I don't know.
Like at the end? Where, it's like...
Well, it's like they had no people up there. I mean, maybe it's like just unmanned, but like it's a massive like US facility. It's like the entire like center point of the US defense, fucking strategic.
And war effort. It's everything.
And like as soon as you get up, like there's no people.
They've got one SWAT team.
And one spider robot. But that's it.
Well, that spider robot thing was really cool. I was watching, I was like, that's really cool. Why is it there again?
I guess it does other functions. It's like a mechanic.
Well,
fixes shit.
But it's like evil. It's like an evil, scary robot.
Normally it just fixes
Can you
shit.
imagine?
And he overtook it.
Can you imagine the conversation that had to happen for that robot to end up looking the way it did? We need you to build like a multi-purpose sort of tool robot.
Cool, though.
No, that's not scary enough. It needs to look like a nightmare.
It needs Spider-Man.
It needs to look like. Have you ever seen The Matrix? Oh, yes, sir, I think. Yeah, it needs to look like something from that. Like really evil, with like evil looking eyes. And its claws need to be like, perfect. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just kind of weird.
But but I mean, that is like film aesthetics, I guess.
That's fair.
They're not practical. Like, all the towns in like Asia and stuff are like dark with like bright neon lights.
No. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't have to make sense. I just thought it was funny.
Yeah, so in conclusion, I like the idea of like a mid-tier fucking sci-fi movie. It kind of fell apart at the third act. The lead character, the lead actor, definitely lacked a lot of like charisma for me and emotion. Looked very pretty, lots of beautiful locations. Action scenes are fine, lacking in emotional intent and maybe a sensical third act which comes together neatly. And any like kind of ideals or themes or like what is this about? Is it saying something about AI? Is it saying something about loss? Is it saying something about PTSD?
No.
Is it saying something about fatherhood? Is it saying something about children?
Motherhood?
Is it saying something about anything? You kind of whisper stuff about shit, but it doesn't anything.
Oh, well, what about this? Maybe it's gone. Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, it's I mean, I recommend going and seeing it, probably.
No one will see it. Even if this dropped on Netflix, like no one would click on it.
No, I know. Well, that's because Netflix has got so much garbage on it
That's
anyway.
fair.
Have you ever seen Altered Carbon?
Jasper years ago recommended it.
It's pretty good.
That's fair. It's pretty good. It's like a B.
Yeah, it's like B sci-fi.
Yeah, what is this? What is this? B, Steve? A C minus? A B minus? A D plus?
I'd say it's B.
Yeah.
B plus.
Yeah.
It's so close. Huh?
Yeah. It's on the precipice of being a really good movie, but it's not there.
It's better than some of the other fucking movies.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed it, especially the middle section. I enjoyed just sitting there and being like, oh, this is the sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
I'm out and about and I'm watching a science fiction film. I enjoy this. Whether or not it was the best executed script ever, that didn't matter because I got out of the house and I watched a movie at the cinemas, not in my fucking lounge room. And now I'm gonna go watch another movie in my lounge room.
That's it.
Good night.
Oh, it's funny.